Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Schmucker Security Podcast once again. And we're here with our special guest who's contributed some songs and some music to our upcoming film, Jason in Indianapolis. It's Zemo72, composer, musician, all around. He can just do almost anything you can think of with some music. So, introduce yourself and let everybody know a little bit about yourself.
My name is Brad Tesser, but my artist name I go by is Zemo72. I'm horrible at picking out band names over my career, so I've had some horrendous band names, and I was trying to think of something to go by, and I'd been out of it for so long at the time. It was just it was literally my PlayStation ID name, because Zemo is one of Captain America's villains. And this is before the Marvel Universe and everything, but Captain America was took. I remember trying to pick out a name there, and I couldn't think out anything. This is when I quit playing music. But I played music all my life. There's two things I've been very passionate about. It's been music and movies and storytelling and stuff like that. Yep. Even as a kid, I combined them together. I remember having my Star Wars toys when I was a kid, but then I would have my Gene Simmons solo album, and that was set in the background. It was like the evil god that they were fighting against and stuff. So, and I've always been really big on creating stories. I grew up mainly being rock and roll, heavy metal, stuff like that, with big influences on me, because my first record I ever had was my dad's album, Love It to Death by Alice Cooper. So the whole cinematic, that horror thing was kind of going on too.
Yeah.
And I love that. And of course, Kiss was huge on me when I was growing up. And then during the 80s and stuff, Friday the 13th, what got me into this whole thing with Jason and stuff was I go over to my grandmother's house. They had HBO. Back then, you couldn't see movies, but if somebody had cable or something like that. So I went over there and watched, I think the first one I seen was part 3, which is still one of my favorites. Right.
Yeah.
But man, that was just and I remember it was a Friday night. It must have been Friday 13th, but it was the 8 o'clock movie. And I remember that was just wow. That was, and even the music in that real sharp, the violins, which I never even thought about doing that kind of music. I was just asking my dad, I was like, what's this sound right here? And it was the electric guitar. I'm like, I got to make that sound. I got to do that. But even my first band I was in, I was big on writing music and writing my own songs. First show I ever played out was half cover songs and half originals.
Right on.
But I was pretty much doing that around here. And man, the thing is in any the entertainment business, when you're first starting out, it's such a struggle because I don't know how it is in Indianapolis, but around here, when I first started out, the local bands around here was pretty much signed bands. I looked up to them. They were playing the nightclubs on the weekends. And I remember in high school, I was trying to put a band together. I needed a drummer, so I talked my brother into playing drums for me. That way I had a practice place. And I could pretty much kind of mold him how I wanted him to play. He was an awesome drummer though. But man, it was just the whole, with the scoring and stuff. I'd done music, recorded a bunch of albums over the years. But when I got back into music in 2020, I was doing a lot of my own. I taught myself recording. Here's a great thing. YouTube is amazing when you're trying to learn stuff anymore. I mean, I bet in 10 years, they'll be you can learn brain surgery or something on here, because I don't care what it is. I learned how to use all my recording equipment, every program I've got. When I first got my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I started watching YouTube videos. And it just I actually got accepted as I was going to start going to the Los Angeles Film School online classes. Had it, financials lined up and everything. And then I was just I looked at the curriculum and I was just man, I can teach myself this stuff better than I can use this money and buy myself some gear instead of going there. So I did that, and I probably missed out a lot of fundamentals as far as doing videos and stuff, but music's always been my first love. I was just always kind of how you do everything in your line of business. me is it's like if you want it done right, you're gonna do it yourself. Or if you want it done the way that you want it, when you want it, the quality, you want somebody to care about it. Sometimes it's like, man, I'll just do it myself. So the only bad part about that is though, is when you, like me, when I was doing my first solo album under Zemo72, I was releasing it. I think it was 2021, but I had like a date set. It was going to release on Halloween, and man, I'd released the Danzig cover, the acoustic version of Mother. I did, and then I recorded another song. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do an album myself. I'm going to do everything on it and put it out. And it was like that year I was learning so much. Then I started, so I'm going to do my own videos now too. And I started doing that. But then when it got close to the album coming out and the date, I had so much going on trying to finish the video, trying to finish the album. The one thing I used to be good at in the band, when I played in a band with a group of people, I was the promotion guy. I did the posters, you know, which I'm sure you see that now. I'm big on making sure the poster was good fonts and everything like that. And I was always like that guy. And my buddies, he always did like the merchandise stuff. But I was always like, man, I got the posters and I booked this and everything. But doing everything else, when it got down to the nitty gritty, and that's the only thing is, like I was going to tell you too, like get somebody that you can trust to help you like towards the end of this when you're getting ready to release the movie, because there's going to be stuff popping up that you're like, oh, you know, and the thing you'll want to do more than anything is promote, you know, and you can't promote because you're finishing editing or stuff like that. So that's the only bad thing about doing everything yourself is when it gets to crunch time.
Yes.
It's you, you know, I mean, you're only so many hours a day. And if you're working a job, you got other responsibilities. You know, I don't have, you know, because I pretty much, with my legs getting messed up and everything, I had to quit working. And the past couple of years, I've been living off like buying and resell stuff on eBay. You know, don't think I was going to make money doing the video stuff, but yeah, that just, especially with my leg messed up, I couldn't do that anymore. I got a ton of gear and everything.
Yeah, you was telling me that camera was fire. I mean, you know.
Yeah, that rig is awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'm starting off, but I used what little I did have to get what I got, and it's good enough to get me by. And you know, as time goes on, I can slowly add piece by piece, and eventually, one day, hopefully, have one in shoulder cams to be able to use with the eyepiece and all the stuff the news channels use. So that footage comes out good. It holds a lot of memory. It's a mini computer in itself.
I'll tell you one thing, man. I've about sold my camera and everything, and because if you look at the new cell phone that now, like the Galaxy, the 24, the new 25 is getting ready to come out in the January. Dude, they're about as good as what you're getting. Like, I mean, they can't do everything, but if you're like doing independent stuff, I mean, if you get a camera like that right there, it's going to shoot such good quality. And then that's one thing I've learned, man. Like special effects and stuff. I started getting there's a site called Production Crate, where I get like fire and explosions and stuff, blood splatter and everything. It's great. I'll send you a link to that if I haven't sent it to you yet. But it's, especially if you're doing the editing, like post, and you're like, man, I wish there was more bloody in there. You can just go take these assets and just drop them in there now and everything.
I think my production team, Angified Presents, which is one of our producers on this show here, has all them special effects from Adobe and Adobe Photoshop and everything. And he said, when I'm ready, I just need to let him know what needs to be imported, and he's got it. So, but yeah, having no budget, trying to do this from like scratch is one of the most easiest things to do, but also the most difficult to do, especially when you don't know A to Z what you're doing.
Right.
I am literally probably at J right now in the alphabet because I'm still learning each and every time I do something, especially now that I've lost my cameraman. And
really?
Yeah, we lost the cameraman first day of the shoot. So now I've got an actress who's filling in. And then, one of the guys who were going to make a song for the movie is a very busy musician. They work at a music venue, which also is an art house, and they're very super busy. Both of them just can't get together at the same time to take a good hour and a half to take the beat that I gave them and let them come up with a good song, original, in the time frame that I need it by. So, but they're still going to try to do the scene. And then that's when, you hit me up and asking if I needed a score, if I needed anything done for the film. And I was like, well, yeah, I do need something. I need that iconic piece of intro that you hear in every horror film. Because you've got Jaws and Michael Myers and Jason. They had when you hear it, Darth Vader. When you hear it, you know who that is.
It's gonna be ominous, yeah. It's really dark and ominous.
And that's why when you sent me that entire clip, I was like, that one small piece is where I told you about the violins.
Mm-hmm.
That to put at the beginning. I was like, that's an iconic sound that can't be replicated without knowing where you first heard it at.
And I'd written that and composed all that for another Friday 13th movie. A guy around here, man, when I first got into doing filmmaking or shooting video, the guy around here I knew was doing a Friday 13th movie, and one of his buddies, who was his partner, was a big cosplay. He's a big guy, he does Jason, and he does Jason more of one like Jason Goes to Hell, which is my favorite one. I like the earlier Jasons myself, but we went and shot 2 nights down in the mountains at this pond, and man, it was awesome. We had people come in from Knoxville and stuff. The 2 actors or actresses had come in from Nashville. But I asked him, I said, man, you're going to let me score it? He goes, yeah, of course. So we shot those 2 nights, and then they said, well, we're going to take a break till the spring to let the guy finish up the script. And I'd never seen any of the script. That's why one time I asked you got a script? Because it was just like, I should have, there's a lot of red flags, and I don't know what the people's deal was, but it's just like, I don't know if they'd really plan on finishing it or not. But, I was sitting there going, man, I want to help you score this every step of the way. And I was like going back in that break we had for like 3 months. I went online and looked up how does a composer work with the director? For like everything from dailies. I was trying to learn and be as helpful as possible as I could. And I was doing that because I just knew his mom's brother used to be a singer in one of my bands, my best friend for 13 years, and he passed away in 2005. So I was just kind of help his nephew out do this stuff. And man, I wrote like a lot of music, but that one piece, I was like, man, this is just had that Jason vibe to it. And I remember being on the Facebook group one day and seeing your post about, hey, I'm doing a fan film, anybody got music, for it and stuff. And I'm sure you probably got hit up a lot, but I was just like, dude, I've already got this piece and it was made for Friday 13th. I'd love for you to be able to use it. That way it wouldn't go to waste, because it's something like that I don't think you could use for anything else. And then that second piece, it's called Reaper Arise. I still need to send you there. But I had actually written that because that movie was going to be a Jason versus Freddy type thing. So I had written that piece to be like a almost a trailer piece because it has like walking beat or whatever, and have Jason walking towards the end. But so much. I even wrote a song called "Burn the Witch" that we were going to use. It was like industrial type of stuff because it was supposed to take place in the 90s. And so I went back and tried to write a 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson type song called "Burn the Witch," and only wrote about a minute and a half of it and recorded it. But it was pretty dope too. But yeah, the freedom now to be able to do any kind of music I want, because like I've told you before, I started doing trailer music and got 2 of my tracks signed to Hunchback Music out of Amsterdam, which is huge, man. I mean, I never thought that, you know, they were the first place I submitted to, and the guy was like, okay, we like what we heard. Send us some more stuff. So started doing that back and forth. Then he was like, well, do you want to submit for this album that we're getting ready to put out? And I was like, yeah. So I submitted an track. They loved it, which I thought was really weird, because I'm not a trained musician by any. I can't sit there and tell you all these modes and keys and stuff. I just know what sounds right to me, what sounds good. So I'll sit there and tinker around with stuff. I like, as far as like hard music though, I like all the older stuff, like the 70s. The Exorcist is like, I love that Exorcist, the Tubular Bells song. I love that.
I got a song that I made that I'm gonna put in the end of the movie. It's towards the end of the movie, and it sounds. My wife liked it, and she's like, "Yeah, you need to keep that." I was like, "All right." So, you know, I've made two, but I got a whole bunch in there. I just haven't. I've made some verses for, but not played with it.
Are you a musician as well? Do you play it as well?
No, I was, when I started this project, I literally had been an extra in a film. Mm-hmm. I had played myself, which was a bouncer, security guard at a music venue in real life. And I had just acted in a friend's film, getting in a little tussle with him, about less than a 3-minute scene, and he knocked me out. So it was a small little scene, and it was 4 people shooting all together. And so that scene led into me wanting to do another one. I'm working a security guard job, and then I seen a scene that said we need a bouncer for a nightclub. So I applied, auditioned, got the part, played myself, wrapped that up, and came home. And then I did another scene for the first guy again, but they scrapped the scene. They didn't use it. And then I was an extra. So I was like, man, I want to do some more. I want to get, I looked all over. Chicago is too far for me to go. It's 3.5 hours to 4 hours, and they require you to come up, show vaccinations, show that you're clean and healthy, wait for 24 to 48 hours, depending upon the test results. And then you can come back up, and you got to be there 2 days to shoot, and you get your fat check, and then you go home. And I can't afford the gas mileage or to stay that long in Chicago. And I've seen scenes where it's like, hey, come to St. Louis, we're filming. You'll get paid $220, 8 hours, minimum on set 10, could be cut as soon as your scene is done and wrapped and good. You could leave as early as 5 hours. Must make it here on your own, but will be paid at the end of the day when your set is done. I was like, that's cool if you could just get there. I mean, that's a long drive.
How far is it from Indy to Chicago?
Chicago is 3.5 to 4 hours, depending on the traffic. St. Louis is about 5 to 5.5 hours. Nashville is 5.5 hours. Louisville's 2.5. Cincinnati's 2.5. And anything beyond that is just too far for me to go. And none of them pay enough for me to go be on set that's going to compensate my round trip and gas. It's like, go out my front door and shoot the scene and pay him $220 or whatever it is and come back in my house. That's what I'm really doing, is just paying my gas tank. And it's not worth me driving that far. So I said, I'm going to make my own movie. And I YouTubed it. I watched videos. I was like, well, I got a brand new cell phone, iPhone 14, that is just sitting here. We don't need it. It's just sitting here. Okay, everybody else is using an iPhone or a Samsung. Let me try it. And then I started reading how to do things and all this. I'm just gonna make a little stupid short. Jason decided he was in Manhattan. He's been to hell. He's been to space. Why not bring him to Indianapolis and kill a few people and send him back on his way? It's been 10 years since we had a film. Does he need to have any idea about why he's here? No.
I think the audience is going to really, the audience that watch these movies, they watch it for the cool kills. The iconic imagery. You said you use a phone. Do you have like a smartphone gimbal?
I have a nice little handheld rig, and I also have a tripod handle. But
okay, cool. Yeah, them gimbals, I think they're like, you could probably find one on eBay for probably $30.
I found one of the ones that move around and has all the fancy robotic style gimbals. They're like $80 total.
This one here, man, I got for my camera. I don't know if you can see this thing, but this thing is crazy. How it, because I got it's a Ronin S, and this thing here, man, you put your camera on. I had another one last year too that I got for a crazy deal, but I ended up selling it. But man, I've had my camera on the thing before, and it starts spinning around like crazy because I got it like not right, because you got to have it like perfectly balanced on here, and that's a trick in itself. But man, I got all this camera gear, dude. Legs messed up. Can't use it. It sucks, dude. It sucks.
Hey man, if you was closer, I'd be like, hey man, look, let me borrow this stuff right here to film with.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the other day. But I got a 48-inch. It's a mechanical slider, and I was just there was a site, Adorama. They had at Adorama.com. They sell a lot of like camera stuff, but they would have special deals as well. So the 48-inch slider is pretty much like you set it up and you put the camera on it, and you set it where you want the camera to start at and where you want it to finish, and it does this.
It moves it on its own.
Smooth, butter smooth.
Oh
man.
my God,
so
that was.
I would set it up and like hit. I would just, because you can set it go back and forth, back and forth. I would just set it up and just run back and forth like that, and then I would get in front of it when I was shooting my music videos. I would sit in front of it and just do my thing, and it looks like I got a cameraman there. You know, you working the camera. Man, it was sweet, dude.
I seen one on Facebook where it takes like the cell phone. Damn, I just disappeared with that. Hey. But you take the cell phone and you mount it. And what this gimbal does, and it goes up to 6 foot, is it follows you. So you can do a whole scene, and you can program it. So I can take a picture of you over here and a picture of me over here, and I can program it to go to turn to you, to turn to me, to turn to you, to turn to me, and then concentrate on me as I walk to you and do something. Hey, that thing is $450. I was like, ooh. I'm not going to be shooting a lot of stuff all the time to use that, but damn, that would be nice to have, to shoot a movie and not have to worry about a cameraman.
And that's on Amazon, man, because there's a lot of stuff that you can find on Amazon now. Because that's one thing I noticed, because they would have, you've got the main expensive brands, but usually when something comes out, they'll have something like a knockoff. It's the same thing, but it's a knockoff. It's probably not as good as parts or anything, but for what you're wanting to use it, it's going to be pretty good. Most of those gimbals now, like the handheld, like the smartphones, they'll have some way where you can set up where it'll track you. And then there was something else I had. I think it was that gimbal I had right there. I could sit there and use my phone, and I can be out from it, and I can use my phone like we know the touchpad and move it left and right and stuff like that. Although it's not smooth as you'd want it to be, because you got to move it real slow. But when the first video I shot though, and gosh man, I got hooked on it though. I had a recording studio in the middle of town, and I just recorded that Danzig song. I used to play Mother by Danzig. We did an acoustic version back in the day. And when I was recording again, I thought that'll be something easy. I don't need drums. I just record it like this. And then I was like, man, that sounds pretty good. I want to do a video for it. So I'd never even done it before, man. And I used Wondershare. That's when I got hooked on the Wondershare for the video editing. But I remember that first time, it was such a pain to set the camera up, hit record, and go, and then try to play the song, because there was nobody else, just me. But then I would sit there and have it run through like twice. And then I would go back over there and look at it and see that your head was cut off the whole time. Like, oh, I got to do it again. I got to do it again. And then I spent like the whole week learning on my camera. And then, but that one, I put enough of stock footage on it that kind of like filled in a lot of spaces. But the second one I did is a song called FTW. It's like a comedy type song. I was shooting, and it was all dark like the first one, but it was more well lit. Well, everything looked like a cell phone camera. It looked kind of cheesy. And I was just like, I don't like the way it looked. How am I going to do this different? And I'd already shot like, a couple really good takes. And that's when I found it was Comica. I think it was the name of the app was Comica. And this has been years ago, so I'm sure there's better ones out now. But it would take my footage and it would like cartoonize it. So it was like a drawing. And it was free the way I did it. And it took that footage. And that's the most watched video I've got on my YouTube channel is I just got some toys and acted like a toy. I mean, just stupid stuff, man. It was.
Hey, look, you know what? Speaking of you saying on YouTube, look, I've been on YouTube since probably 10, 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm not very, very active on it or on Instagram or TikTok. I got too much going on to be on 4 different sites, posting it here, posting it here, posting it here, posting it here. I'm too busy for that to do all that. So I just
that's one of the things I'm telling you though, man. It's like once you get ready to release the movie, that YouTube and stuff like that is how you'll want to get your stuff seen.
Yes,
and
yes.
That's the hard part about it is when you're a creator and you're creating this stuff like this, you have to almost get into a promotion mindset.
Yeah.
Or I mean, because the one thing I thought about before, I actually reached out to a couple of people, but I just never pulled the trigger on it. But going to places like Fiverr and looking for people to promote your stuff like that.
Yeah. I was telling my wife that too. I was like, when I post this on YouTube for the release date on the 13th, I want to leave it go for 24 hours and come back to it tomorrow on the 14th and look at it and see what it's done. And then I may go get one of them YouTube boosters where they'll take it and they'll blow it the hell out to everybody. That's I've been playing with that and I told her I may have to pay for a push out because it's a fan film. It's really a tribute to the franchise. I can't profit off of it. I'm not looking to profit off of it. I'm just wanting to show, a first timer, never filmed anything but some concert footage before, and a first time directing and showing people what to do that's in my brain on set, and then acting, and then bringing the collective of cast and crew together. Again, no experience, no budget, and this is the result, is to put it out there, let people see it, because around the state of Indiana, there's talent agencies, marketing agencies that will put you into movies, film, all kinds of things, music, and you have to have a credit. You have to have credits, and some require you to have schooling and credits, and some require you to have went through a ton of others, just different priorities to be picked and looked at. But if you have a film, it's on IMDb, it gets pushed out, people see it, you get a good liking or following from it. And it doesn't matter if it looks 80s cheesy or it looks 2000 and Asian cheesy, because, I'm a beginner, but I do have a production team that's going to help me put it all together, look at it, add what needs to be added, play with it to make it come out looking good. And again, that all goes towards, this is what I was able to do. This is what I was able to push out with the help of these people. I want to work in the industry and I want to do it, and I need someone that's going to take me on and be able to say, hey, you need a bald-headed white guy in his 40s that can play between 38 and 50? I got somebody. Let me haul him up. You need a bad guy in prison that looks like he belongs. You want a biker? You want a gang member? I mean, I have the head. I have the face. I could give you what you need when you need a thug, a white thug. I can give you that. I've been to prison. I've been around every genre of every type of person there is, from the weaklings to the just look at you and you're walking the other way type people.
Right.
So I know how to talk, I know how to act, I know how to put it together. If you need it, I can do it. But without what I need or what they need, I can't get it. So if I showcase this, maybe somebody will see it and be like, "Hey man, you want to be in my film? Hey, you want to help me out on my film? You want to come and help me direct?" And hopefully it leads to a paid job where I'm involved in a film, or I'm in the film, or I get a talent agency to get me out there. And then with everybody involved in my film, I'm going to submit it to festivals that I'm allowed to, because it is a fan film. You have to be very careful who you submit to. So the property owners of the franchise don't come knocking on your door and say, "Hey, you need to pull your film." But see, I also have 3 things going for me that the other fan films don't. 1, almost every fan film you see either has one of these 3 things in it. The full name, Jason Voorhees. The full name, Camp Crystal Lake. The full name, either Pamela Voorhees or Mrs. Voorhees. And then the final one is Friday the 13th. So, all that combined, people use one of those in their fan films. And here's the catch. All of those are owned properties by Warner Brothers or New Line Cinema or Paramount Pictures, Sean Cunningham or Victor Miller, or a collective of other people. So you can't use, you may get permission from this person to use this and get by with it. So that's where, some of these films that get put out, YouTube don't stop it, people don't block it, people don't have it taken down because, okay, they passed permissions, that they're good to go. Nobody's complained. I left everything like that out. I'm not leaving a door or a window open for anybody to come and be like, "Hey, psst, hey, let's talk." I left out Voorhees altogether. Friday the 13th is not the name of the title. It's Jason in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. And then your subtitle is A Friday the 13th Tribute, which takes the Friday the 13th all the way out of my title, because I'm showing them that, it's an example of PopCon or Horror Hound. It'll say Horror Hound Cincinnati or Horror Hound Indianapolis. There's the difference right there. Just because it's Horror Hound don't mean it's going to be in your city this year. And same thing with this, it's Friday the 13th. It's something to give tribute to them. I'm paying homage to them. And then I also leave out camp from the Crystal Lake, so nobody can say nothing. And there's 27 different Crystal Lakes in the world.
Wow.
So it could be any one of them. And so having original music in the film, such as your contribution, Anna's contribution, and a few other people's contributions, keeps that synonymous with the film. And it also adds credence to, this is original. It's can't you be used in something else without the permission of you or me or the other artists, because it's copyrighted on IMDb. Mm-hmm. So if you use it for something else, that's fine because it's yours. If I use it, I don't use it without your permission, because our agreement was this is for Friday the 13th. If I want to use something that's from you to my movie, I got to ask your permission to use it in, I want to use a snippet of it in my new movie. I got to ask your permission because I don't own it. You do. But anything I do with the film, I want to push it, promote it, trailer it, make a music video from it, do anything with that, then I don't need permission because I'm using it for the ownership of what it was made for.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, one thing I really like, because remember I first did like the posters and stuff for you, and everything. Where I had that bad experience before, one thing I was like, okay, I was on board with this was because when I was like, hey, you got a script? He's like, yeah, I got a script. He's like, check it out, and I was just like, read it, like, damn, it's actually pretty good. I was like, that's cool because 95% of people don't have that. They don't. They want to say, oh, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go make this movie, but there's a lot of work people don't realize.
Yeah.
And like for you, the one thing I would say, just because I'm an older guy, I've been around. The number one thing I think, especially with like you said, this is your first one you're doing, is finish it. Have that finished product, because I've known people who said they were directors and filmmakers and stuff like that, and they've not finished a single thing. They'll go shoot some footage and they'll put like a teaser. It's not even a trailer. It's just like a little bit of the footage they shot that day, but there's no story there. And so it's just like to finish something, to have a finished product that that says so much about a person, I think, where if you get it and you finished it, that way you won't have like, well, I've been working on these 10 movies. I just haven't finished them yet. Like, no, finish one and get it out
That's
there.
it.
Because people will respect that, because they know that, well, you'll stick through to the end and stuff. And just where I seen you had that script, it let me know that you had a beginning and you had an end, so that's a big thing. You're starting your end points right there, and you've got everything else in between too. But I was like, okay, cool. That after that, I was like, because I even thought, because man, I just got bad vibes. That last guy where he raised all that money, man, and he didn't raise a ton, but he raised enough where it was just like, there's a lot of people expecting their perks that put, and I seen him on Facebook. They were asking about it, what's going on with this, and him and the other guy got in an argument. So the movie was called off, or the director stepped out. He's let the actor take control over it. And it was a big, big mess to the point where somebody had financed the camera after I stepped away from it, because I was just like, when you're sitting there trying to, they had this one scene. This is crazy, dude. It was in the springtime when they resumed filming, and it was a party at this house, and somebody donated the house, let them use it. And they went out and rented these big, like camera tracks that, like a dolly, somebody you ride on, and it was shot. So they rented this gear, and I thought, okay, impressive. And they had all these extras. They did a casting call. All these extras come. They said, we will show up here we're going to have a party. We're going to it'll be free food and free alcohol, which I thought, okay, that's mistake number one right there. You don't give out free alcohol to people. You're trying to keep them in line. And there was one guy there doing the producer type thing, but they spent, I was there, and I was just shooting like behind the scenes footage stuff for them at that point too. And I was still in the mindset, I was thinking I was doing music for them. But man, they spent hours, like 6-7 hours, getting this one shot of the guy who was directing it, his girlfriend walking in the house. And he goes, okay, let's do it again. And it was just like, not even a 5 second in the movie, it'd been like 5 seconds. And I'm like, you all these people sitting around all night long drinking, waiting for something to happen. And I was like, man, you need to get this thing going, dude. I said, all these people are just hanging out, drinking the hell out of your alcohol. I said, you're shooting this one shot over and over. I don't think I'd be surprised if they got anything else besides that, because the girl would come in like, oh, where's the drinks at? The kitchen. I'll help myself. Okay, let's do that again. And I was like, how many times are you going to shoot this, dude?
Most of my shots have been within one take, maybe two on a couple, but I get everything I want because mine are short and quick.
Yeah.
And, I want dialogue, but I also don't.
You got a script, though.
But the script, I'm doing what's called a set script, too. So when I get on set, because I've had to change locations, I can't get. My script writer has been worked his ass off since day one. And I was like, look, we're going to base off the script that you revised for me, but we're going to base off of it. And from that day to today, I've lost 3 locations, 4 people, and had to reschedule 4 times and then pick a new location for those because I lost the other location due to rescheduling. So I was like, we're going to set script. we're going to try to work off this script and keep it as much as possible, but we're going to have to substitute a lot of it. So let's just roll with it, and then let's go. And then we get on set, we just do it. Like today, I shot one, and it wasn't called for here. It was supposed to be in a parking lot outside of a warehouse, and I couldn't use the warehouse because they got an event going on. Because I had to reschedule it for the actors, I couldn't get to the parking lot. So we used a street down by my house. And then I had another scene that was supposed to be shot at the same time right after that I had to reschedule, which is okay. I have no issues with rescheduling. She's a teenager, and she's just I got to work with her and with her mom. So there's two schedules I have to be able to work around, and I have no problem working with them because I know they're right here in town. It's easy to get to. But when you get on set, I've been on them, and I was there all day just to shoot my little 30-minute scene, and went through like 5 other scenes up to mine. And so I get the drift of that, and that's why I don't want people that's not gonna be shooting right now to be here. Come in 2 hours. I'll be ready to do yours then. You show up at this time. And that way I don't have a lot of people around hanging out where I don't have permits. I don't need them, but then when I get a group of people to film, I have to have a permit because I got a gathering in a public space of more than 5 or 6 people. Now it's become a legal matter of why y'all on a public street hanging out, and y'all are filming, and y'all are just doing whatever. People see it, they're going to call the police and be like, hey man, there's a whole bunch of people standing out here on my street down by my alley. I don't know what they're doing, and then the police get called. You got to explain yourself. Y'all got a film permit? No, sir. So, I can't have all them people here. So, I read the rules. I read the laws. I've contacted every single person that needed to be contacted because I wanted to make sure, watching all these fan films, being a first time doing anything, I'm a paralegal. I graduated with paralegal studies. Having been in prison, I had to learn all these legal things. So I was like, I'm not going to get something shafted. You ain't going to come back and whip me with some stick and say, hey, I'm pulling your stuff. You ain't going to get it out. Hey, you got to take that out of your film. Or I wasn't going to go through any of that. I'd watched too many fan films on YouTube only to come back and check them out or read about it. Hey, this one got pulled because of this content, or this property decided they wanted to pull it because they did this with it. And I was like, damn, he got pulled out of he had his stuff yanked because he put it in a film festival. Because Warner Brothers said that they charged to attend the film festival, got to yank it. Somebody's making money off of your fan film being shown to the public that they're charging admission for. We ain't getting no money. You ain't getting no money. They're getting the money off of your video and our property. Got to take it off, drop it. I was like, damn. And then they made a big statement of it. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me go read the rules and laws before I start filming. And I went and
there's a movie that came out this weekend. I'm trying to think of what the name of it was, but it's pretty much, they took the Jason theme, and it's an independent shot movie, horror movie, but most of it is the shot from behind the killer. And I've heard bad reviews, I've heard good reviews on it, and the guy was like, it's pretty much Friday the 13th, but you've got a generic Jason or whatever. But I've heard some people say they really liked it, but man, it was out everywhere this weekend.
If one person, watching that, like watching Never Hike Alone or watching other fan, so if you watch other fan films, there's things you can see to be like, oh, okay, I wonder how they got permission for that, or well, cool, it's cool that they got permission to use this. But see, when you watch mine, because I didn't want nothing to happen to me. I don't want nothing bad to come back and bite any of my actors in the ass, any of my musicians in the ass, any of my crew, anybody. I wanted to be able to go out and people like, oh, I like it or I hate it or whatever you want to say about it, because every piece of comments is good comments. And the reason why is negative criticism, when you're a creator, bases on two things. One, if you're happy with it, then you need to let the person closest to you look at it, because they're going to be blunt, honest, truthful with you. They ain't going to sugarcoat nothing. My wife ain't going to sugarcoat a goddamn thing if I say, hey, baby, check this drawing out. Hey, listen to this song I made. Hey, check this thing out I did. Or, hey, come and look at what I did outside in the yard. I redesigned the front yard. Check this out. And she's going to give me her honest fucking opinion and tell me, hey, that's cool. I like that. That's a good job, baby. Or, no. Yeah. Really?
That's very valuable to have too. Somebody that'll give you their honest opinion about stuff.
Yes.
I've known that. Where I had stopped playing music, like I said, in 2012, I had that breakdown. I just stepped away from music, which was my whole life, and I just went to go work. But when I came back, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything myself. And I was kind of just like, can I do this? But then I was like, the thing is, I'm just gonna do it and finish this song, and then give it to people and see what they think about it. Well, of course, you got some of those friends who are just like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, give me some critique on it. What could be better on it or something like that. Oh, it's awesome. I'm like, for one, when you say something's awesome, it almost makes me think you're not even listening to it, because I'm asking you, pleading, how can I make it better? Don't tell me just it's awesome. I don't want to. I get anybody to tell me that. I want to know. Okay, that second verse, your voice didn't sound right on this. I know I'm not a great singer, but I'll try to do stuff. And it was like, I have one person, and me and him, we've been like not super close friends, but I sent him an email one night, and I respected his opinion and stuff. Hey man, this is back when I had the studio. I'm just starting this out. Check this out. Let me know what you think. And he goes, yeah. I actually asked him in advance, can I send something to you? Well, that night, it was a Friday night, and I sent something to him. I'm like, man, check this out. It's like 9 o'clock. See what you think about it. Give me some, critique or whatever. Well, after he told me he would, I sat there at night and I didn't hear from him. And I'm like, and I would just stay up. I would just stay at the studio, work on the weekends, all through the weekend. Well, I stayed up there working on recording. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting ready to lay down and just crash out for a couple hours. 7 o'clock in the morning, I get this text, and it is this huge, long, detailed, just breakdown of what I sent him. And I was just like, dude, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Because he was like, hey, this time he would even reference bands I'd never even heard of before. He goes, this reminds me a little bit of this right here and stuff. But that guy is like, he's my goat, man, around here. And the thing is, I couldn't keep, I had a tendency, I'd do that, want to send him everything. Check this out. I couldn't do that because I didn't want to wear that out. I was like, okay, I'll send him every once in a while. And I even tried to get him to sing on a song. He was in a band around here back in the day. His big thing was he got I guess it was early 90s. He had long hair, East Tennessee here. He got super long hair. But he got on Sally Jesse Raphael and of course, all those talk shows. He got there because he wasn't crazy. The guy was like really smart guy. He's like doing electronic stuff now with computers, designing security doors. He's that kind of brains. And, but he went and played that part on Sally Jesse Raphael, but I just could not thank him enough for taking the time, because that's one thing I've learned, especially with music. And, I don't even know, with videos, man, you get a little more people, I guess, because there's a visual thing there. You get people watching it, but as far as like music, they have people actually check your stuff out. And the thing is like, man, I told this one guy, I said, man, I know for a fact you sit and listen to talk radio and listen to that political bullshit and stuff all day long. Can you take 5 minutes and listen to my song? Oh, yeah. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, what do you think about it? Oh, I had time to check it out. Yeah. I'm like, I've seen like 1,000 posts on Facebook about, political stuff, which I hate politics. That's one reason I started just, as I'm just gonna play in a band by myself, because it was just, I mean, it's gotten to the point so bad. God, to be around like 4 or 5 people, and you just know that it's going to come out sometime. It's just a headache, man. Even like my brother and stuff, he got really heavy in the political stuff, and I can't even talk to him anymore. I asked him the other day, I was like, hey, man, you hear that new Eminem song? Dude, that song is old stuff. I don't listen to him anymore, man. He's too political. I'm like, he doesn't say anything political in the song, man. It's got a good beat to it and everything. But to have somebody who gives you honest critique on something is just, man,
that's why she's the number one I go to. You know, I told her, I says, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for, you know, when people watch it, people hear the music in it, they see what the actors do. You know, most of my actors that are here in town have never acted. So it's their first time. So, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to give everybody a platform for first timers and people who hasn't been involved in something like that, and just bring them all together and show what we all have done as a collective. And then when I told you earlier, I said I had a script, or I didn't have a script. I had just a stupid story to come here and slash and kill, throw a couple songs I was going to make on my video or my music maker, and just be done with it. And a buddy of mine who's been in a couple of Hollywood films and a couple of Netflix TV series, I sent him the concept to him. So, hey, you know anybody down there? He lives here in Indiana, and I was like, you know anybody down there be interested in helping me out, you know, acting in this? And he goes, first question is, do you have a story? I'm like, nah, it's just a little 20, 30 minutes short of him just coming to town and killing people. He goes, well, not too many people want to jump on something like that. That's like a TikTok special. If you're going to touch Jason or anything with Friday, you need to put a story to it. You need to have a plot, because the fans are going to come, and whether it's a short or it's not, you got to give it a credence, because you're only going to get the cult following watching a slash and kill compared to getting the people who actually follow Friday the 13th, follow Jason, keep track, post it, reshare it, are the ones that's looking for the story, looking for what originality have you brought back to Jason? Because another fan film, let's give it a shot, see what this person's done. He says, so you need that, because if you have it, you get more people to see it and share it. I'm like, okay. So then I searched, got me a script writer. Me and him have been from day one. He lost his phone service and his internet for a couple weeks, and I couldn't get in touch with him when I needed to. So I reached out to someone else to, you know, kind of take over where he was at. And Clarence came on board, and he helped put in some perspective. And then Mike got back in touch with me, explained the whole situation. So I put those two together, and they brainstormed and came up with the script that we have that we're working off of. And just being able to have a story, it was the originality of it to have original music with it. And, you know, anybody can take anything and remake it, redo it, but it's hard to take it and originality it. Make it yours, but keep it true. And that's what this film was about. It is a small play on Pamela's, Jason's mom's, past before she even was pregnant with Jason. And that's the basis of it. And that's why, you know, you're going to be confused, because when you go look up Pamela Voorhees, guess what? There ain't nothing about her. No parents, no maiden name, no birthplace, nothing. No one's ever...
Free reign, yeah. You got free reign on the story of it.
Free reign on it, because there's nothing about it. Now that I've got it, and when my film comes out, it's mine. And to use it, you have to ask. And I want to be able to take that and hopefully get it into the canon. and by getting it in the canon, gets everybody seen and heard, and gets it out to the people that need to see it and be able to take force of it. A friend of mine did a fan film long ago, way before YouTube was what it was. It was back when MySpace was open and they were still putting stupid little videos out. He made a little fan 20-minute short of Freddy Krueger. And his little storyline got picked up in the New Nightmare.
Really?
Yeah, they had paid him to buy the rights to it, and they took it and they added it to the New Nightmare. And that's what I was like, it was interesting to see that you came up with something so original that could fit into the franchise that they asked for. And that's where my goal is, to get this here, because you can play off of it. I've already got concepts in my brain, which I'm not touching, for a continuance to a degree that either moves the movie forward or takes you way back in the day before Jason was around as an origin story. And so I've got things that I can play with without having to touch anything and just roll with it. And having original music such as yours gives it more credence, because people ain't going, oh, cool, Rod Stewart, REO Speedwagon, Metallica, Billie Eilish. They hear those.
You'd have to pay so much money to use that stuff. I mean,
yes.
the guy who's doing the other Friday 13th one, he was trying to use. When they were shooting that party scene, they had like typo negative stuff, and I'm like, you're gonna have to pay. You can't afford this, dude. I mean, why don't you use something? Even using this as a placement right now, you're gonna have to take it all out, because if you're just throwing up on YouTube, that's one thing I've learned. You'll get demonetized, but you can use stuff. I just released.
But they also connect your stuff if it's got any copyright content. They tag them in it, and then if they say, like, I tag you in something on YouTube, and they know that this is yours when I put it there, and they put the copyright mark on it, they release it to YouTube. They tag you in it, so when they go down and you look and see where it says copyright and you click on that, it brings you up. And when you click on you, it'll take you over to that. If you've posted that video or that music that I used, it'll take you to that video, or it'll take you to your channel. And in that way, it's letting the people know that this is whose music you're listening to. They own it, not me. And that's where having Metallica, like you said, having Metallica in my movie, and then I put it on YouTube, they gonna tag Metallica. Metallica didn't get a goddamn penny. They gonna be like, hey, no, they don't have permission. You need to pull that. And my video gets pulled.
I just released on this past Friday, which I put out like the video on YouTube, but I actually released it. But I did a version of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. I did an acoustic version of it where it was like darker and slower. And I put it out just on the YouTube video, and strangely enough, it didn't get demonetized. I think it was just because it was acoustic, they didn't put these two together. But when you're an artist and you're doing a cover song for somebody now, like my distributor's DistroKid, I pay them. Okay,
yeah.
I have to pay those guys, and they do it. It's like $12 a year, so I can record that Lady Gaga song and put it out there. And I've actually released it. It's at like you go to Spotify, you type in Bad Romance. My song will pop up there right underneath Lady Gaga's. And it's just like, I wonder if using a cover song like that, if you were going to use it in a movie, if the movie would have to get the rights to, I guess it would, or you
it
just
probably
have to,
would.
Yeah, because it'd be through her, because she'd have to get the money.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess they figured, like, because back in the day, artists couldn't just cover another band's songs, and it would be $12 a year. I mean, my buddy's girl, she did a cover of Faster Pussycat, House of Pain. And he contacted the singer for Faster Pussycat, Tammy, and was like, hey, man, how much I got to pay you to use this song? And Tammy was like, we'll figure something out. I'm like, you ain't got to pay him anything. Go through DistroKid, you pay $12 a year, and that's it. You ain't got to pay him hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So, it's different now. I think one thing though, man, and you know, me as far as like, I think I told you the idea I had, which I'm not a filmmaker or anything, but I've had an idea for a movie, the Werewolf Exorcist of East Tennessee, kind of crazy thing came up with, and I've got a story for it. But even coming from where I don't know what the hell I'm doing, I'm even starting out with, you know, I'm just writing a story right now. But even last year, I wanted to start looking into AI using, because, all right, so I don't have the money for a special effects unit like these big studios do. But AI, I got a video on my YouTube channel where it's, what's the name of the company? But they have a thing now where you stand in front of like a green screen, whatever, and what it does, you move around, and then you click a character, you record it, you put it in the program, upload it to the website, and click different characters. Like there, when I seen, they had robots, they had a cartoon character, but they had, you can go on like Blender and these other places and they had a Spider-Man. They actually had werewolf 3D models that you could use. And what it is, it's like it's like what's it called? They do they put all the balls on you, and they
that's the 3D modeling.
Yeah, 3D model.
Yeah, 3D modeling.
I did a video of that, man. I just did I shot it right over here. I actually use this for a background. It was behind me, but I'm just sitting there like moving around, and then I put it through there, dude. The shadows looks. I mean, it is so spot on. I mean, and that was last year. So you think about a year or two from now. I mean, I was like, man, I could probably make a werewolf movie and never have to have an actual like makeup guy. I can just do that, like stuff there. And as far as like music for your films and stuff, that slide I sent you the other day, which that's a very listen. The way I think about it, I'm a musician. I've tried to make money off music my whole life. I've not been very successful at making a lot of money off it. So this whole thing about AI is going to take stuff away from musicians. I look at it this way. 100 years ago, whenever it was, when the cameras first came out, the painters were like, oh, that's cheating. We actually paint with paint, and you're taking a picture with this. You got to use technology as a tool and not use it as a crutch, but use it in incorporating with your vision. The way I look at it with the AI, like the artwork, I've shown you like the Mid-Journey, stuff like that. Me as a musician, I was never, I used to draw. I was looking for it last night. I actually did a Friday the 13th, a bunch of drawings when I was a kid, but I was never really good at the art, but I picked up on the music pretty good, but the visual art wasn't great at. But I had great ideas I thought in my head for album covers and stuff like that, posters. So Mid-Journey, what it allowed me to do is get some of that stuff without having to pay somebody, not because, I want to keep an artist broke or anything like that. No, I want to be able to express myself in more ways than what I just do with the music. So any kind of tool with the AI stuff, I think AI is going to be so big, especially for filmmakers, because there's I think it's called Sora. It's getting ready to come out. So you can sit there and instead of, how I do like the images, the posters, I would be able to sit there and put Jason Voorhees is walking out of a lake and stuff, and it'll give you the video of it. You won't have to go shoot the video. You'll be able to tell the story.
Is it out yet?
It's supposed to be coming out this year. It's called Sora. I'll send you a link to it. S-O-R-A. There is one YouTuber. He is all about the AI stuff. But like I said, last year when I first started thinking about that storyline, I contacted a couple of people around here that were really hyped about it. Like, oh, we want to be part of it. And I told them, I said, listen, I'm not in a rush to make this because I think with AI coming out, there's going to be a lot of things we can do. Especially if you can sit there and type in, let's say, if you can, because the thing is, you can be able to do the whole movie with AI. You'll be able to go to like ChatGPT. Hey, give me a script for a scene with a mass killer, and he's coming after these two girls in there at a log cabin or something like that. I need like a 15-minute scene, and it'll break it down. You can do that right now. ChatGPT, and you go to the free version. And I've actually used ChatGPT to help me. Like if I'm writing a song, I get the part where I'm like writer's block or. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll take my lyrics I've already got written up. I'll put it in there, and I'm like, hey, I'll need some more verses with this cadence. in this rhyme scheme, and this is what the song is about, and give me 6 verses. And they're like, boom, boom. Now, you'll pop a bunch of crap up there, and I don't use any, but what I do is I look at that as inspiration. Oh, I didn't think about rhyming this with this. How can I fit that in the way I'm doing stuff? So using the AI stuff as a tool, man, I think to be big. And yeah, especially with you doing everything yourself, looking into that. I mean, I still say you shoot your movie right now the way you do it. Because you get experience, get that thing, get it finished, get something out there with your name on it. Hey, I'm Samuel Smucker. I made this right here, and put your name on it. But at the same time, start learning that, or start at least keeping an eye on it, because man, it's going to be here very soon where we can actually sit here and tell it to create. I mean, they did a South Park episode completely with AI, and it looks just like a South Park episode. The thing is that you can do stuff that's in very small snippets, but I just practice on it. You can usually get a free account with these places and get on there and just start using it a little bit at a time, where you can get, because there's going to be a day probably within this year where that Sora gets released, and it is going to change the industry as far as filmmaking, because you're going to be able to sit there and be like, I want to make a film about this, and this is the first scene, and give it to me. You think about having to rely on actors. I mean, if you've got actors that are dependable, yeah, but how many times have you tried to shoot something already, I bet, and they can't show up, you're like, plan for today. I've set this whole day apart, and you just, show, or cancel at the last second. Well, instead of that, you're like, listen, you can get at least something good. You can do that for like backgrounds. If you got a green screen, you say you couldn't go to a set, you couldn't use this set because you couldn't get the permits or whatever. Get you a green screen. You can make the set into these AI places, or even in Midjourney right now, like a background, and just put like that, and then do a green screen in front of it. And then eventually, I always look at it this way: if you're using it, use the AI and use your stuff, your original art, and then your AI, and do like a blend of it together and stuff like that. And then, like I said, it's so exciting, the possibilities, I think, with filmmaking, with music production. The one thing I have found out, because man, I've made some decent rock songs with the AI stuff in that audio site I sent you. The one thing I try to get it to do, and I haven't had success at it, I'm like, give me a horror movie theme. Give me, instrumental music like that. And it hasn't really done anything where I was like, oh, that's awesome.
It made a song for me for the movie.
Well, see, did you try the audio site?
Yeah.
I gave you, man, it's awesome, isn't it?
It's freaking fire.
Dude, it's just like, holy shit, I ain't got to pay for this. I mean, because,
I wrote a song for my dog, because we got him a nickname, and I said, hey, write me a song with and I made it country, and it came out sounding like some Garth Brooks, George Strait style honky tonk music, and I was like, whoa. My wife's like, hey, I like that. I'm like, right, that's fire.
And the thing is, you can just sit there and you can like do it again if you don't like it, and I'll give you two more examples. So yeah, man, I think especially in the entertainment business, we can't stop it. It's going to happen. It's technology. So the best thing to do is, because there's a lot of people that's like, I'm not using that, and I don't think you blah blah blah. Fine, don't use it, but I'm going to, because it's going to. I'll put it this way: whoever is in the industry, for every person who says I'm not going to use it, there's going to be 10 people who are using it, and they're going to get it done, and they're going to get the opportunities, because these people who've got money, they want to put in stuff. I think they're the big things for them. They want, how efficient can this be? I want some new songs for my cop TV show, some theme songs. Now you're going to pay an artist, like say myself, who's like trying to make a living, but they come up with one song, or you can be like, hey, Zemo, can you give me like 10 different songs to pick from? And I go and I write my lyrics for it and put my, until the AI gets so good, it's going to write it itself. But I just try to put myself in it and use it, man. But that way, if you got 10 songs and 9 of them's bad, and they like one, well, hell, I didn't waste an hour working on that stuff. So yeah, I think that's the big thing is, man. I'll send you some more links too, man. I'm always looking at my eye on that stuff, man. But yeah, I think you'll like the source stuff. There's a plot.ai is another website too that helps you write scripts.
I was using Chat GPT or whatever it was, and Script Ghostwriter.
Yeah.
I found them, and they helped me get my ideas. I was like, I was able to speak to it, so I was able to like, this is what I have, this is the idea, and then it just put it all there, and then typed it out. I was like, okay, and then I sent it to my script writer, and he was able to take my idea and story plot and write a script for it.
That's cool, man. This is exciting time to be in this stuff, especially for people like us who, we're not out there. We're getting the big, I'm not going to compete with that Hans Zimmer, and you like going against Steven Spielberg. But where can we find, places that kind of not level it completely, but where can we find little places that we can get a little bit of an edge that get further than what we would normally would,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I very much appreciate you coming on tonight.
I appreciate you having me, man. This is my first podcast, so I really appreciate it, man.
And you've been there a good long grip with me since I started this, and I very much appreciate you contributing, being a part of it. I know we haven't really been that much talkative lately, but I've been filming and we got everything we need.
That's good. You're busy, and that's good. If you need anything, you holler at me, dude. I'm just going to be like that. I believe you're going to get this done. Because that's one thing. I believe you're going to get done. The only thing I warn you about, because I've been there before, is like when it gets close to time, it's going to be released. Oh my God, it's going to be so hectic for you. You are going to be crazy. You're going to be like, I didn't plan on this, because whatever you think you've planned for, I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh. And the promotion thing, I think, is, but I'm going to try to help you out on what I can and stuff. But
I've got some of the actresses and actors that once it is ready to be, like, it's going to come out in 2 weeks on YouTube, they've agreed to push it everywhere, like every day. Just, they said, remind them each day, send a message in the group and say, hey, if y'all would take the moment sometime in the next 24 hours, please share the link again, and keep sharing it and posting it up, so that when the movie drops, there's a bunch of people already waiting for it, watching the countdown till it airs. And that's my goal, is to have the people sitting there ready to watch it, because that's the thing with YouTube, is the people who watch a premiere and are sitting waiting with the channel on, YouTube records that. And the more that you have, the better it is for you as a creator. Because
algorithm.
Because YouTube posts stuff that we as creators and channel holders and YouTube watchers don't know. They take all that stuff and they release it to all these places so that others can be like, oh yeah, well that's cool. And then why do you think the stuff goes viral? Because you did something that had so many people waiting, then they watched it, and let's say there's 100 people that's waiting to watch it, and it starts. Within 20 minutes, I promise you, I'm going to lose at least 20 people from that first 20 minutes.
Oh, from probably the first minute,
Maybe
I watch my, the metrics on it and stuff, and it's crazy because I'm like, this person didn't even give a 5-second chance, it goes down. But yeah, you watch that old chart, man, where people will drop out, and sometimes I'm like, somebody's clicked on it and they didn't know they clicked on it, and they changed it and stuff. I tell you one thing though, that you could do to actually start getting some hype going, and it would be easy to do, and it doesn't take long. You're out there shooting scenes right now. The big thing YouTube switched to this year that I'm guilty. I've not been making them like I should have been, but the shorts. So it's not, they're like 9:16. They're like a phone. They're not 16. They're not widescreen, but they're 9:16. But they're only like, man, if you like me, I get on YouTube and I'll click on shorts and I'll lose like an hour or two watching just shorts, over and over again. But get like a thing of Jason and just have, Jason Indianapolis like flash across the screen, whatever, coming soon. That'll build hype, and you ain't got to put something very short together, just him coming at the screen or something like that.
I got a bunch of that footage I can use.
Yeah,
So go on YouTube and do the create video and then do a short.
Dude, it's called a short, yeah. And if you're using a video editing system, you could literally, you know what? What's the?
I use
Have you ever used Canva before?
Yeah, I've got Canva too.
Okay, so Canva should have the thing on the side there. It says YouTube Short. It'll have a template up where you can just drop your footage in. You click on the words, change them out. It'll be super easy for you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Do that, dude. And honestly, boom, boom, boom. And another thing you need, one last thing I would say, dude, as far as, anything I tell you is advice. Take it with a grain of salt. I never say I know how to do anything perfect, but I'm saying from my years of experience being a band promotion guy, but email list. If you're going to, you need to get on.
I have an email for it.
There's a email group. It's called Monkey something. I'll send you the link. I've got it. But to get where people will sign up to get updates from your movie, okay, in advance. Okay. So you get an email list. So when you know that release date, or it's coming up, you can start sending an email each week. Hey, it's in 4 weeks now. They keep, you don't want to blast them because you don't want to bug anybody. Because I hate this new thing on Facebook. Highlights. I get 1,000 highlights a day, and I'm like, my phone beeps constantly. I'm like, I don't even know what this half the stuff. But there was some a vacation spot today. I got from 3 different of my friends a highlight from. So I hit it. But an email list. If people sign up for the email list, you can be like, hey, listen, I'm just going to keep you updated about the movie. If there's anything, that way, even if you started it right now, once a month.
I got to learn how to do the email list because I don't know how to make a sub.
There's a website I'm going to send you a link to, man. It's called, it's something with a monkey in it. But it literally does it for you. When I was doing one for Zemo72, when I first did my website, I was doing that, but I just didn't have enough stuff to talk about because I was like, it's just me. And most people can know me, but man, for the movie, you're going to have updates. Okay, we finished shooting this. This is coming up. I appreciate all you people helping, man. And literally, man, it's got a template, the monkey thing, the monkey mail, whatever it's called. But you can sit there and just click on the words. You say, I want to do this kind of email. Boom, boom. I'll send it to you, man. But yeah, man, like that, I'll send you stuff. Like if you can use the links on the stuff I send you, great. If not, it's cool too. But I'm just trying to help where I can,
I appreciate it. So stick around after we cut, and we'll talk for a few. And I just want to tell all my viewers thank you, and go check him out. If you need some contact information for him, reach out to me, and I will pass it on to him so he can reach out at his leisure to get you what you want to find out.
Yeah, check me out on Spotify, on Zemo72 on Spotify, and then YouTube. That's the places I'm most active. I've got a website too, but I've got to get the name back, but it's still out there. But Spotify and YouTube under Zemo72.
Thank you, guys, and stay tuned to my Facebook for more updates about who we got coming up next. And when this will be released will be on a Tuesday.